What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about this Natasha doll because it has an origin, a sad one, actually. And you'll find out where that comes from. For years, Chinese people, especially the ones that are social media creators, have literally been flying to Africa and they film themselves abusing the African babies and children. This has gone on for years. If Africa wanted to, they could stop these people from coming there. If they don't have no real business being in Africa, you can turn their butts around and send them home. It's not hard to find out whether somebody's on social media or not. And every time you see this happen, I've seen some of the videos in the entirety, and y'all, it is disgusting. The Chinese people do not see those African babies as human. Y'all, they knock them down. If a little child is riding a bike, they'll knock the child off the bike, film the whole thing. They smother them with pillows. They slap them around. They hit them. They knock them on the ground and kick them. And I'm talking horrible, horrible, horrible things. And instead of when they got them, they'll grab them by their upper arm and hold them that way, just hold, or they'll have two toddlers and holding them both up by their upper arms, like you could pull their arm out of the socket doing that. It is, let me tell you, it is the most heinous thing ever. And there never seem, my question, where are the African adults? Where are you? Y'all never seem to show up when they are filming all of this stuff. No adult African ever shows up, which tells me you hand these children over to these Chinese people and y'all don't care what happens. These children are, when you see this, y'all, the children are clearly traumatized. How the hell do you let these people have these children unsupervised? This is 100% Africa's fault. And you Africans on social media, all you do is spend your whole existence talking about FBA. How come none of y'all are talking about these Chinese people that are flying there for the sole purpose of filming themselves abusing the children? How come y'all don't talk about that? Y'all never talk about it. All you want to do is talk about us and call us Akatas and Juriers and all kinds. You will do that all day long. But y'all don't say not one disparaging thing about what these Chinese people are doing to the African children. But see, y'all don't care about your kids anyway. That's why y'all got orphanages all over Africa. All over Africa, everywhere. They got orphanages everywhere. But they come here to this country talking about single mothers. Yeah, well, at least that mother is there for their child. If a child is stuck in an orphanage, that means the mother and the father don't give a crap about that child. We may not be perfect, but one thing we don't have is a problem with Chinese people abuse. You best believe they wouldn't dare fly their asses over here to do, they wouldn't dare do it. But they do it to y'all because you're docile. And obviously, it's easy for them to get a hold of them children unsupervised. And it has gone on for a long time. This didn't just start happening. So when you see them taking that Natasha doll and stretching it and bending it and beating it up and pounding on the head and all that stuff, this is what they do to the African children. That's where that doll originated from. That doll originated from the abuse they have done to African children. That's where that doll comes from. And you know what? You know the Africans are docile. An African man can show up 1 minute late for work, and some Chinese man will pull some damn tree branch out and beat the heck out of him. Y'all don't even stand up to these people. But you got a problem with FBA, though. Your problem is with FBA. We don't come over into Africa and harm your babies. We don't do that. A lot of times, our people are just looking for a nice place to go over in Africa, or they're looking for a place to live. They want to stay there, but they don't come on that land and try to sneak off with the children just to abuse them and film them. Y'all, I was reading those type of videos. It brings in a lot of money. That's why they do it. They said them Chinese people can't get enough of those videos where they're abusing those African children. They watch it as a form of entertainment. It's sick. It's sick. But these folks got the nerve to come over here and disrespect us more than anyone else. We ain't done nothing like that to none of you. But they don't have not one disparaging thing to say about these Chinese people that are over there doing that mess in Africa. And they're doing it right on your damn soil, and you're not doing nothing about it. You should be ashamed of yourself. You let them say another disparaging thing about us. Y'all bring this mess up when they're in there on these lives talking about, FBA, FBA, FBA. No, you bring this shit up about what the Chinese are doing to their babies right on their damn soil. Bring it up. They're not doing a damn thing about it. All right, let me show you. So now you know where that Natasha doll came from. It came out of something they have been doing for years over in Africa. That's where it comes from. All right, y'all, give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. No, it's up to the Africans to fix this. This is up to them to fix this problem. And you know, in all honesty, they may be getting money. That's why they're not protecting the children. That might be a big reason why the babies are not being protected, because they're getting money from these Chinese people. Thank you for the ones.
#21st century, people can do videos like this. You know, there's some Chinese people who really come to Africa to make videos, just exploiting kids, exploiting less privileged.
Despite the debate in China, the industry continues to grow. The most popular videos get millions of views. Some are even used by celebrities like Joker Xue, a huge pop star in China, to feature on the big screen as part of stadium concerts. This guy has 56 million followers on Weibo, a site like Twitter. That's the context in which this clip, the low IQ video, exists. But despite all the heat and fury this clip generated at the time, no one was ever able to figure out who made it.
Now, what this person did, they flew into Africa and had these children repeat things in Chinese that they didn't even know what they were saying. They were saying things like, I'm a black monster and I have a low IQ. And this person was showing this on the big screen up in China and have made millions of dollars off of these videos, because they said the Chinese can't get enough of it. They watch the hell out of these abuse videos. It's sick.
We knew that to uncover who made this video, which we called Video Zero, we had to find out where it was shot. I'd already found video operations of this kind running in lots of African countries, but one of the first journalists to report on the low IQ video had been told, by good sources, that it was filmed in Malawi.
So we started the painstaking process of downloading and logging hundreds of videos from across Chinese social media that featured similar things. Children holding these placards, holding these blackboards, saying these words they don't understand.
In Chinese, I'm a black monster. My IQ is low. This video was released in February 2020 on a Chinese social media account called, get this, Jokes About Black People Club. The word they're using is Heigui, which could be translated as black monster or black devil, but really, it's the Chinese equivalent of the N-word.
I tell you what, you think you want to boycott these people now? You're going to really want to boycott them by the time we get done with this live. For real. And like I said, just picture this, y'all. This has been going on for years. Probably as long as the Chinese have been in there doing business. They come in and out of Africa when they're good and ready. But I promise you, if Africans flew over to China and did this to their kids, they would have a meltdown. They know darn well they would never allow it.
This is what happens when anti-blackness is normalized in our communities. When you're teaching children that it's acceptable to slap, throw around, mock, or dehumanize dolls that are meant to represent Black children, you're desensitizing them to the dehumanization, brutalization, and mistreatment of Black children and Black people as a whole. You're reinforcing the idea that Black people are objects rather than human beings deserving of dignity, humanity, and respect. Watching those babies and children cry was truly heartbreaking because we're no longer talking about dolls. We're talking about real children being humiliated, exploited, and dehumanized. And unfortunately, this isn't new. The exploitation of African children has been happening for years.
Y'all, see, this is why I wanted you to see this, because the Chinese people have taken this to another level. Let me just say this. The Natasha doll, it's horrible. But see, this stuff gets even worse. Now Chinese people are adopting or paying for Black children. They're getting actual Black babies out of Africa. So it has gone beyond a doll. And who knows what's happening to these babies over in China. They are getting live babies, and taking them. And you'll see that some of that is also in what I'm showing you. And they're getting them over in China. And those babies are so young, they can't tell you what's going on with them. It's no telling how badly things are for them over in China. They don't have nobody to turn to. And Africa, y'all need to put a ban on Chinese people taking your babies. You did it for some of the Europeans. You need to do it for these Asians too. You need to put a ban on them taking your children out of the country and into China, and you don't know what's happening to them babies. If they're going to pound on a doll, you can imagine what's happening to the actual babies that are there. But yes, they are now grabbing the babies up and taking them back to China, y'all. Those babies are not safe. They're not safe.
And every time these conversations come up, people would rather get defensive than address the harm itself. As an Asian woman, that's what hurts the most. Because holding our community accountable shouldn't be controversial. It should be the bare minimum. Not because I hate my community, but because I love my community enough to believe we can do better.
So yeah, back to my last post. Do y'all see this? Y'all have Chinese people taking their hard-earned money to go down to Africa and violently hurt these kids. But y'all would sit here and take Asian hate and anti-Semitism more seriously than hate towards Black people and Africans. But I digress. Let me know, because y'all will see everything else, but see what's right in front of your eyes.
Trigger warning, if you're Black, this story is really, really disturbing.
In February 2020, a shocking video surfaced in China. Off camera, someone is giving African children sentences to repeat. It was posted on a Chinese social media account called, get this, Jokes About Black People Club.
A Chinese man who was exposed last summer for making racist videos with African children has been convicted. A Malawian court has convicted a Chinese national on multiple charges, including trafficking and procuring children to take part in entertainment. Lu Ke, also known as Susu, has been handed a 12-month prison sentence, which he has already served in police custody. He has been ordered to leave the country within 7 days and is barred from ever returning. He was arrested last year following a BBC Africa Eye investigative report. The report showed him filming Malawian children, making personalized greeting videos, some of which included racist content. The videos were being bought for up to $70 on Chinese social media internet platforms. When news of his offensive videos broke, he fled to neighboring Zambia as Malawian authorities issued a warrant of arrest against him. He was arrested and convicted of entering the country illegally and was then extradited to Malawi. He was denied bail and has been in police custody until his sentencing on Thursday. He faced 14 charges against him, including procurement of children for use of entertainment, child trafficking, illegal use of the internet, and harmful social practices. Lu Ke denied making derogatory videos. In his defense, the court was told he had already paid 16 million Malawian, I don't know how we pronounce that, $16,000, which is 12,500 pounds, to the government to compensate his victims and for social responsibility activities in the community. He said he had made his videos in order to spread Chinese culture to the local community. I remember when the story broke last year, it was an African woman who spoke fluent Chinese who heard what the children were saying and confronted him to his face about it. And he claimed that he was teaching them the Chinese language. But the full video is very disturbing and triggering. But if you want to see it, you can Google the story and you can find the full video on the BBC website.
I hope this makes you as angry as it makes us. There's a viral trend around a Natasha doll in China, a black baby stress toy. Chinese social media users are filming themselves squeezing, stretching, and brutalizing the doll for entertainment. When asked why the Natasha doll had to be black, one Chinese social media user responded that a white baby, for example, would be too human and people would feel bad for hurting it. The Natasha doll is disturbing as is, and now Chinese social media users are filming themselves with real-life Natasha dolls. There are so many videos and entire channels dedicated to showing Chinese people abusing black babies and then laughing about it. Content creator Shalom M took a deep dive on the many ways in which Chinese social media has created an entire market for abusing, harassing, and dehumanizing African children on camera. She mentions how the BBC did an entire documentary on a Chinese man who was living in Malawi and filming children without the consent of their parents and selling those videos to said Chinese market. China has a great firewall on all social media apps that are not Chinese owned. So they have their own apps like RedNote, WeChat, and more, which means a lot of the content posted on these Chinese social media apps stays within China and is specifically targeted towards a Chinese audience and what they like. There's an entire market of Chinese adults who enjoy watching videos of Black African children being abused. As our African leaders continue to welcome a nation that does not regard us as human beings, what can we do about it? Let's talk in the comments.
Super fun for stress relief. Perfect small gift. Tap the link below to get yours now, lah.
トップで話題になっているもの、それがナターシャアフリカベビーのスクイーズ人形。中国版 TikTok では洋服を着せたりメイクをしたり、まるで本物の赤ちゃんみたいに遊んでる動画が大量に出てきます。これが流行ったリリからの雑扱いの様子を更新。投げられたりスープかけられたり風船につけられて放たれる、このストーリー性のある動画がバズって、今中国ではナターシャを使った動画が
meme on Chinese social media.
So on Red Note and Diane, there is a trend of memes surrounding this stress toy people call Natasha. As part of this trend, people do obscene, cruel, and odd things to this doll as you see in the video, and it's super popular and people call it hilarious. I personally have an uncomfortable pit in my stomach when I see these videos. These stress toys come in various colors, even pink, yet the trend specifically chooses this particular model. Some are met with cyberbullying and nasty comments for speaking out. Some netizens simply dress her up and take her out.
So the Chinese people over in China are using black baby dolls for stress relief. They're literally torturing these dolls, stomping these dolls out, beating these dolls, and doing all sorts of heinous things to a black doll baby. If this is not CHWs mixed with racism, then I don't know what is. The Chinese population in China is Chinese people. They are not even in close proximity to black people like that. So what in the fuck is going on? What would prompt them to do this? And then when we say everybody is obsessed with black people, they say, oh, you're lying. No one likes you. We all have black fatigue. When we say people are delusional and it is nothing but pure projection, when they talk about how we operate through the world and how we treat people and how we're dangerous and how we're a threat to society, when it's literally the people that are pointing the finger, three are pointing back at them. Because what on God's green earth would make Chinese people make a doll and call it the Natasha doll just to torture it and beat it up for stress relief? A little black baby doll. Literally, I've seen a video of a Chinese person running the doll over with a car, slapping the doll, slamming the doll, doing all sorts of demonic debauchery with this black baby doll. Yet people swear for God that we are the worst thing that happened to planet Earth. We've not done anything to anybody to subjugate them, denigrate them, disenfranchise them. What is like, and then we keep saying, well, what is the problem? What is the problem? It has to be pure jealousy and envy and just racism, because there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. There aren't even black people in China like that for them to be doing this. Globally, everyone has an issue with black people. And then you'll be like, oh, well, if everybody has an issue, then maybe you're the problem. No, maybe we are the source. It got to be jealousy. It has to be, because what else is the reason for this? And just blatant racism. They are not even in proximity to black people like that in China. Yet they're taking delight in torturing a black baby doll. Let that sink in. What do y'all think about this? Sound off in the comments below, because this is just like spread love is the Brooklyn way. Like, child, everybody globally has a gripe with black people, and particularly black Americans, because the name Natasha, that's a black American name. Like, they're not named Natasha over on the continent. You don't hear too many Natashas in South America or in the Caribbean. That sounds like a black American's name. This is crazy.
You should not be legally allowed to buy these Natasha dolls for the purposes that you people are buying them for. I feel genuinely sick to my stomach. I wish I never found out. That is a fucking baby, bro. You guys actually need psychiatric help. For those of you who don't know, first of all, I'm jealous of you, but this is called a Natasha doll, and it's all the rave in China right now for all the wrong reasons. There are locals buying these dolls in China right now, oftentimes in mass, and beating the living shit out of these dolls, stomping on these dolls, getting a scalpel and removing the skin off these dolls. Everything that you can assume that they would do, they've done. And some of the justifications for this, you ask, are genuinely disgusting. Because a lot of people are just playing this down, saying that these are just stress relief dolls and that the skin color is not relevant. But to everyone with more than 3 brain cells, we can discern that that is a stupid BS justification. Because look at these dolls. Look close at them. Why did you have to make them all black? And it's not even like an uncanny type of whatever. These are ordinary looking brown and black babies. They have even put details on the lips, the pink lips. It is very definitively a black baby child. They genuinely mimic black babies way too much for you to just play it off as plausible deniability. Why couldn't they make them orange or purple or red or blue? Why do they have to be brown? Akin black baby.
21st century, people.
Okay, y'all. So now you know where the idea for the Natasha doll came from. It came from all the abuse these Chinese people have been doing in Africa to actual living, breathing babies. All right. And I just hope, if nothing else, it brings awareness about these folks. These are what they call them model minority, my damn ass. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, the boycott should be permanent as far as I'm concerned. It should be permanent. There should be no going back in these stores around these people. And don't leave your kids around none of them. I don't care how innocent they look. Don't leave your children around none of them. None. Oh yeah, they're adopting those babies out of Africa. And like I said, once those babies leave the country, they're not even safe in the country. The Africans aren't protecting them like they should. So you can really imagine what is happening to them outside of Africa. So they're taking actual babies now. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, well, it's up to, it's the African government. I don't see how you can ban Europeans and you see what these Chinese people are doing and you haven't banned them. What's the excuse for that, Africa? And y'all need to stop talking about FBA. It looks to me like you got bigger fish to fry. For real. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. The Crawford Experience. This is beyond disgusting. It sure is. It absolutely is. And, it just goes to show you, even some of the Africans are aware that this is going on. But the thing is, what is the African government doing? Why are you allowing them to have access to the children? And then the one reason I heard, oh, the Chinese man is teaching them Chinese. Well, who told him to teach them Chinese? Who told him to do that? You're in Africa. And like I said, y'all are way too free in handing your children over to these folks. They should never have access to your children like that. So, no, this is Africa's fault, and it's the people in Africa. This is your fault. Curly Locks, thank you so much for your super chat. Shalom, y'all, and Miss Lisa and Bless family. Shalom to you, and thank you for your support for my channel. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you for being here, and be on the lookout for my upcoming videos. Shalom, family.